So Whitney Houston's daughter, Bobbi Kristina Brown, has passed away. But you know what? I knew this was going to happen. When I first saw the news story of Whitney Houston's daughter having a similar incident the day before Whitney Houston died, we can look at this article here from TMZ. It says, the day before Whitney Houston was found dead in her bathtub at the Beverly Hilton, her daughter, Bobbi Kristina, fell asleep in a bathtub in the exact same hotel. In this video, I want to talk about why they killed Whitney Houston and her daughter, Bobbi Kristina. We're going to also talk about some very interesting events that happened around their time of death. And of course, we got to talk about Clive Davis and his devilish ways.
Now it's time to bring in the master.
So let's get into just some examples of celebrities that sacrificed their children. We have Dr. Dre. He sacrificed his son, Andre Young. Bill Cosby sacrificed his son. So did Mike Tyson. He also sacrificed his daughter. So this is a trend where these celebrities sacrifice their children. Even Will Smith, he hasn't sacrificed his son and daughter as far as a blood ritual, but he has sacrificed their gender somewhat. The boy is a girl and the girl is a boy. So essentially, that is a sacrifice. Bobbi Kristina was a beautiful girl. Whitney Houston was a beautiful person and singer. We're going to talk about Clive Davis. We're going to talk about some books that I recommend to actually break through this conspiracy. You need to get the book Culture Bandits, because when you get the book Culture Bandits, it'll tell you that all the genres of music were created by so-called African American. Okay, so essentially, it's black people that should be in charge of the music industry because they essentially are the talent. Without black people, there would be no jazz, country music, rap, rock, or R&B. Okay, essentially, the only genre of music the Caucasians brought to America was ballroom music, if you can call it that. I also recommend the book Hitmen, Power Brokers and Fast Money Inside the Music Business. If you read this book, you'll see that Clive Davis is a snake, he's a hustler, and he's a crook, just like all the other people in the music industry that are bamboozling and cheating the musicians. Remember, Michael Jackson said Tommy Mottola was the devil. This book will help you get a better understanding of the music industry. Also recommend the book, The FBI War on Tupac Shakur and Black Leaders. And finally, if you want to go even deeper, get the book Dancing with the Devil, How Puff Burned the Bad Boys of Hip Hop. So let's talk about how they actually showed us that they were going to kill Whitney Houston in the sitcom The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Let's take a look at that clip.
What's up, Will? Oh, what happened to your Whitney Houston cutout? She fell apart in the shower. What's up, Will? Oh, what happened to your Whitney Houston cutout? She fell apart in the shower.
Now, I'm going to get kind of deep, and you might want to put on your tinfoil hat because we're going to look at numerology, and we see that there is a pattern that is actually showing up. It's the number 3. When we add the address 9876, we get the number 3. When we add up Whitney Houston's age at the time of death, which was 48, we also get the number 3. And Bobbi Kristina's age at the time of death also adds up to the number 3. And coincidentally, they all died in February. Now, if you think that's a coincidence, I don't know what to tell you. Now, one thing we have to also look at is the moon cycles around the time of death. There's a full moon on February the 7th, 2012. If we look here, it seems like there is a full moon almost 3 days in a row. But when I go to another source, it says that there was only a full moon on February the 7th. When they do these ritualistic murders, they usually follow the moon phases, usually a blood moon or a full moon. They use the moon as an object of manifestation to manifest whatever they're trying to manifest. Now, as we can see here, going back to Whitney Houston's murder, it happened around the week of a full moon. Now it says here on Thursday, DailyMail.com learned that Bobbi's life support machine was switched off. This was February the 5th. Again, this was Thursday. Now there was a full moon on the 3rd. Is this a coincidence or is this something a little deeper? Now when Whitney Houston had died, it was around the time of the Grammys, which was February the 12th, 2012. Here's something that you probably want to take a look at, because Nicki Minaj brings out a Pope impersonator as her date to the Grammy Awards right after Whitney Houston died. But it gets even stranger, because next year, February 2013, the resignation of the Pope Benedict the 16th happens. So let's think about this. Whitney Houston dies February the 11th, 2012. Nicki Minaj comes out dressed as some type of Catholic person with a pope. And then the next year, in February, the resignation of Pope Benedict. Now, it's really interesting because Pope Benedict the 16th was the first pope to resign in almost 600 years. Also, we can't forget that throughout 2012, it was the celebration of the Diamond Jubilee of Queen Elizabeth II. 2012 marked the 60th anniversary of the accession of Queen Elizabeth II to the throne of 7 countries upon the death of her father, King George VI, on February the 6th, 1952. Now we have Clive Davis, who right now he's saying that he's praying for Whitney Houston's daughter. But as I said before, if you read the book Hitman, you'll see that Clive Davis is a snake, he's a crook, and he's a hustler. And he doesn't care about Whitney Houston or her daughter. But again, they're promoting this idea of him being so thoughtful and caring and praying for Whitney Houston's daughter. This is the same guy that invited Whitney Houston's mother to the Grammy party the day after her daughter died. So how much can this person actually care about Whitney Houston or her daughter? Now, when we go back in time, we see that Whitney Houston's comeback was a disaster because Whitney Houston wasn't ready. Clive Davis wanted her to come back. It says here, Whitney Houston's comeback has been a huge disaster. Not only did her contrived I Look to You album not live up to sales expectations, but the album failed to garner any Grammy nominations. Just to even go further, we can look at what T-Boz said about Clive Davis on the show Monique that was on BET. And in this interview, it shows you how Clive Davis is a hustler. He's greedy, and he doesn't pay people their money that's due. Let's take a look at it.
You know, you're going to hear about this, but we talked about it before. Why did TLC hold Arista hostage?
The record?
The record company, Clive Davis, we held them hostage like guns, the whole shebang. Yeah, it was like that.
Because, wait a minute. I want to make sure we understand.
Yes.
Guns?
Yes, guns.
With bullets?
With bullets.
Come on, give me the story,
I'm going to tell
baby.
you because TLC had generated on Crazy Sexy Cool $75 million, and they gave us $50,000 apiece. So I was like, what the hell? So, of course, Lisa was the ringleader.
Like, we need to go get our money. I need to know where my MF and money's at.
So, you know, she was locked up in the diversion center for burning down the house. And she was just like, okay, we gonna get LaFace and them girls I was locked up with. We gonna drive up there. We gonna take the guns. And then we had this limo driver.
Wait, she just got out of jail?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And we had the limo driver. And he was the getaway car. So we went up there and held everybody hostage. And Puffy was the one that snitched us out. Yo, B, yo, your girl's up here mad bugging, yo. And I was like, oh, Puff, why you gonna snitch us out, dog? But he called it, yeah, because we kicked him out of the meeting.
Well, wait a minute. Puffy, mind your damn business. Okay, go ahead, Sugar.
Now, at the end, she talks about Puff Daddy actually snitching them out. Now, Puff Daddy's part of the Boulay. He's part of the homosexual mafia, if you want to call it that. you know, and you know, you can look at these images here. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything, but I mean, what do you think? Something's not right here. But I digress. Now, going back to Whitney Houston for a minute, there was an Egyptian statue or coffin, it seems, and that raised some eyebrows. Perhaps she was a sacrifice to some Egyptian god. Tutankhamun, I believe that's how you say his name. For that to be there, it's like, what's really going on? Just something to think about. Now, going back to Kristina, it was this guy here that actually found her body. His name is Maxwell Lomas. Now, what we're going to find later on is that there was some injury near her eyes and her body, like there was a fight before she actually even was put in the tub face down. We have Nick Gordon saying that he was the one that found the body. Then we have Maxwell Lomas, this white guy, saying he found the body. So I think we can come to the conclusion that Whitney Houston sold her soul for fame and fortune, and also sold her firstborn, her only child, Bobbi Kristina Houston. She went through the rituals, and her time was up, and they ritually killed her. They broadcasted it on the Fresh Prince show how she was going to be killed. They made sure that they killed her during the week of a full moon, and they made sure they killed her daughter during the week of a full moon. And more information will come out on other synchronicities that is running parallel to Bobbi Kristina that I might not be aware of right now. But I can say for sure this was a ritual, and that's why they killed Bobbi Kristina Houston. Let me know what you think. Till next time. Conspiracy Dude.
Jay-Z, the self-proclaimed God MC, Mr. Big Pimping, Mr. Jehovah, also known as Jigga what? Jigga who? Has been bragging to his friends that Beyonce will not leave him. He is the boss in the relationship. So in this video, I want to discuss why Jay-Z is bragging to his friends that Beyonce won't leave, and I want to discuss the fact...